experience. I believe experience is the best teacher. I don't think there's a single video on this platform that can give you the kind of knowledge that experience comes with. Experience comes with not I would say experience comes with wisdom. Knowledge is just words, information. Knowledge is information. Wisdom is a whole different level of understanding. When you will unlock the wisdom that comes with experience, you'll just see how different it is. It doesn't even apply the same. The knowledge doesn't apply the same, right? You could read a million books in the world. If I read 10 books about financing, right, but I don't apply it and I don't try to use what I learned, it's useless. That's why books are meant to be applied. Because when you read it, yes, you get knowledge. When you apply it, you gain wisdom through experience. So that's where a lot of people go wrong when it comes to reading as well, too, just to give y'all a little side note. But I did have some topics here I had written down. I forgot, I'm just such a yapper. I had like a bunch of stuff written down to talk about. I haven't even looked at the book yet. So let's take a look what I got. All right. All right. Information isn't transformation. Ooh, hold on. That's a bar, Zay. That's a bar. Information isn't transformation. Only action and experience create real change. All right. What does this mean to me? Information isn't transformation, meaning that you could get as much information as you want, right? Information doesn't change you as a person. And I gained this. I'm going to use me as an example because that's the best person to use, right? In this situation. When I was 15, 16, right? Starting my self-help journey, I was indulging in a lot of information. I was just watching videos, reading, boom, 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 right? Getting as much info as I can to learn how to communicate with others. Whatever, because I was always an introvert. I'm still an introvert, seriously. Only difference between me now versus before is I have social skills that can allow me to break out of it, right? That can allow me to be more comfortable in social situations. Prior to now, I was the most awkward being possible. I still think I'm a little awkward in some scenarios, but that's just comes down to my preference of just not wanting to talk to people a lot of times. But it's a growth process, right? So let's use 15, 16-year-old Zay as an example. The person who was doing a lot of reading, watching a lot of videos, gaining a lot of knowledge, right? Now, I had a lot of knowledge. I gave great advice, and in some scenarios, I was making practical or like logical decisions just based on the knowledge I had. But there was a lot of progress that I missed out on simply because I wasn't acting on the knowledge I had, simply because I wasn't putting in the work and putting in the time to improve upon those skills using the knowledge that I have, right? And I talked in the past about being intentional. You have to be intentional with what you do, which means if you want to improve in a certain area, let's use social skills as an example, then it would be smart for you to actually intentionally go out and talk to more people. Don't count on it casually coming by, because that's how you end up getting yourself stuck, by thinking that things just happen casually, right? You can definitely find yourself in casual conversation, but when you make it an intention of yours to actually go out of your way to make conversation, then you're gonna find that you're gonna make progress a lot faster, and it's gonna stick a lot more, because when you're being intentional, things stick, right? If you are learning how to shoot a basketball, right? Back to the basketball references, right? Even at 20 and 25, I gotta stop saying right. Somebody help me out in the comments down below. Give me a right counter at the end of this video. So, if you're playing basketball and you're learning how to shoot, right? Where was I going with this? I kind of forgot. All right. If you're playing basketball and you're on the court learning how to shoot, if you're just shooting for 2 hours straight, right, with no real intention of actually making certain adjustments, you're gonna find that when you go back out the next time, you're not even gonna have no idea what you were doing wrong. You're just blindly shooting the ball and hoping that you get better results, right? And that's not really how you want to live your life. You don't want to live your life just hoping and wishing. You should be faithful in trusting the process, but you should also be intentional with what you do. Those go hand in hand. Hear me out. So, with that being said, if you shoot and every time you miss, you make it an intention of yours to figure out a potential reason why you missed, and then you intentionally adjust that on the next jump shot that you shoot. Make sense? So it's a lot more intentional And when you're being intentional, you can make adjustments and you're going to learn a lot quicker and it's going to stick more. It's going to be in your brain. Now, when you come outside tomorrow, you're going to be like, all right, last time I was doing this, this, and this wrong. These were the 3 main reasons I was missing. I'm going to eliminate those 3, change them. Boom. I'm going to shoot it like that every time. And boom. Next thing you know, you're a shooter like me. Oh, next thing you know, you got a shot that's butter like this, like mine. A shot that's butter. Hold on, chat. Tell me about, write my form real quick. Right? Because I'm low-key decent. So, boom. Huh? Elbow in. PSD. Hold on. This is not a sponsored video. Chill out. So, boom. I set like this, right? I dribble the ball, left hand. You can't even see the follow-through, but it's there. The point is, be intentional, and you'll be able to grow a lot faster, and things will stick a lot more. So, I hope that example makes sense. So, information is not transformation. Don't be 15, 16-year-old Zay who sits back and allows information to override his ability to act. Instead, you should prioritize acting over information. You should definitely still be learning and make sure you put aside time for learning, right? But I think the ratio of learning to acting should really be like 70-30. You spend 30% of your time learning and you spend 70% of the time doing that thing, because really you're spending 100% of your time learning. Just by doing it 70% of the time, you're learning a lot. By learning, you're learning. By doing, you're learning. So you're learning 100% of the time, except now you're adding action into the factor, so you're growing at the same time. I'm giving y'all real deal secrets to life. I hope that makes sense. You're learning 100% of the time, but now you're adding action into the mix, which means you're growing at the same time. Because learning is useless without growth, right? Even if you're like a scientist, you could gain as much info as you can, but like every scientist applies that to their own theories. They use it for their own good. They never let knowledge go to waste. Don't be the guy who lets knowledge go to waste. All that time you spent learning, don't let it go to waste. You know what I mean? If you're all those hours you spent learning math, man, use that math, man. Get you some money so you could count it. Use that math, something. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. Let's see. Okay, I see where I was going with this. I was cooking when I wrote this. I was cooking. You learn more by doing the wrong thing than overthinking the right thing. Y'all gotta understand. I'm gonna say it one more time, and I want y'all to think about it before I even break it down, because this is deep. You learn more by doing the wrong thing than overthinking the right thing. Boom. When it comes to the process of learning, right? Ideally, I think as humans, we all want to speed up the process. We all want learning to be quick. We all want learning to be fast. Nobody wants to learn the same thing forever. Let's learn quick so we can apply it in our real lives. That's where overthinking the right decision fails. When you overthink the right decision, right? That means you're thinking of every possible scenario, trying to find the perfect outcome for that scenario, and you're trying to find the best decision to make or the best action to make based on those scenarios. You're trying to avoid all the failure, you're trying to avoid all the mistakes, you're trying to avoid this, you're trying to avoid that, you're trying to avoid these, trying to avoid those. You're trying to avoid everything to get it as perfect as you can. No, you're trying to get it perfect, not as perfect as you can. So you did all this, you spent all this time conducting this master plan. I'm going to give you 2 examples, the same scenarios I've been given, approaching women and starting a business. Let's start with approaching a woman. When you're approaching a woman, if you try to come up with all these the perfect scenario, right? Let's imagine the perfect scenario. Before I even talk about what that might look like, let's start with saying why thinking of the perfect scenario will never work out. There's a lot of factors that you can't control when it comes to everything, really. But for these 2 examples, let's start with approaching a woman. some of the factors you can't control. What's good? Thank you for your time. I appreciate you stopping by. Look, if you enjoyed the video, which I know you did because I was dropping straight gems, go ahead and hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to help this channel out, help the channel grow, and share this video with somebody you think needs to hear this, or somebody you want to hear this message, right? And as well, also hit the description where we have all the links to our social medias and everything like that. I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us, and I hope to see you on the next one. Peace out.